Hello, so in this video I'll show you how to set up EMR cluster, Amazon keyspace, set up IAM authorization to talk to Kafka in a private network, and how to deploy Spark Stream to EMR cluster. So first we need to create a EMR cluster. Click on advanced option, choose the default release, make sure to check on Spark 2.4.7, click next, and make sure to choose the same network as our Kafka VPC as in the previous video. Click next, give it a name, and then choose the key pair, and make sure to remember the EMR default role, because we're gonna have to set up some authorization with it. And then click create cluster, and then we're gonna wait for it to finish booting up. So while the EMR is booting up, we can go ahead and go to the Amazon keyspace and set up our keyspace and tables. So first head to keyspace and create our keyspace. For the project, the default keyspace in the application.config is log gen keyspace, and then click on create keyspace. So, and then we can click on tables, and we can create a table with the key space that we created, and the default table name for the project is log data with the schemas listed in the readme, which is log ID with the UUID data type, the file name with type text, timestamp, type text also, and the log type text, and lastly the log message, which also type text. And we want to set up the partition key as our primary key, which is the log ID, and then we can go ahead and create our table. So after created our table, we want to set up IAM for our EMR master to talk to Kafka and send out email. So we want to head to IAM. We want to set up the role for our EMR. So the default role for master is this, the EMR ET2 default role. And we want to attach MSK policy permission to it. We want the full access role, and we want to also attach the email sender service. So Amazon SES. Alright, so now our master have the following policy permissions. So our EMR have booted up, but before connecting to it, we want to set an inbound rule for Kafka to let us to connect to Kafka through the network. So first, copy the security group for the master node. Make sure it's a master node, not the slave node. Then we want to go to Kafka MSK. Click on the cluster we want to connect to. We want to go into the security group and to the inbound rule. We want to edit it, and now we have to add a rule that all traffic, we want to allow all traffic from the security group, this security group, which is the elastic map reduce master, and then we want to save that rule. And now our EMR have full connection to our Kafka. So before connecting to EMR, we can walk through the configuration. For this Java driver, it will be used to connect to Cassandra, Amazon Keyspace. The basic contact point is the endpoint and the port, which you can find in the README file on how to look for it. For the local data center, which is the region where Amazon Keyspace located. For the username and password, you can generate it in the IAM page. For the drugstore path and drugstore password, for Cassandra SSL connection, you can either use this file with this password in this project, or you can generate it. The description can be found in the README file. And the email service, you can specify the email from and to send to email with the template as in the resource folder. And for Spark, we are connecting to Kafka with this Bootstrap server, and with the group ID, log topics, and we're using the Kafka drugstore to connect to Kafka securely with the password changer. The information on how to look for this file is in the README file. For Cassandra Amazon Keyspace, the keyspace will be log chain keyspace, and the table will be log data. And after I populate username, password, and the from to thingy, I can generate a jar file by running sbt assembly. So after set up everything, now we can finally connect to the master node. Click on this link to get more information. I already have it in PuTTY, so I just connect straight to it. Alright, and also we already have a jar file created for us using sbt assembly. For this job, I like to use WinSCP, which will automatically do SCP when you drag and drop into the UI. So I'll go ahead and connect to the same master node using WinSCP, and then I can drag this file to upload it into the server. And before running, we also have to put the source file, because we are going to read the JKS file from the resource, the Cassandra and Kafka JKS file. So now after we successfully upload it, we can finally see the file on our server. But before running it, we have to delete all of the metadata, which will resolve our signed job problems with this command. So after it deletes two of the meta in folder with the dummy DSA file, which now we can run the Spark submit. The command can be found in the README file. So I'll paste it in and run it. So now, as you can see, the Spark stream is running, and you can see the cast log model, which is logging out onto the console with the data. As you can see, there's a lot of entries, and if we were to check into our Amazon Keyspace, we go to CQL editor, and we want to get the data using select star from log chain keyspace, which is our keyspace and our table. Click run command, we can see a whole tons of messages that came from Spark streaming.